A man walks into a bar. The bartender asks him, "Hey, can I help you?" The man looks around, spots an empty stool, and sits down. The bartender gives him a questioning look, but he just sits there. The bartender walks over to the other side of the bar and leans on it, giving the guy another questioning look and asking, "So what can I get for you?" The man responds, "Don't you recognize me?" "It's me." The bartender is still confused. He tells the man, "Sorry, but I don't know you." The man stands up, gets close to the bartender and says, "It doesn't matter if you do or not, but I have something for you." So he reaches into his pocket. The bartender pushes him away and asks, "What are you doing? Are you trying to stab me?" Startled, the man asks, "How did you know?" The bartender grabs a bottle and smashes it on the man's head. The man falls to the floor bleeding. The bartender screams, "Get away from me, you dirty animal! How dare you come into my bar and try to kill me?" The man looks at the bartender and says, "But you're the one who told me to come here. You said I could find you in this bar." Confused, the bartender asks, "What are you talking about? I never told you to come here." The man then pulls out a rose from behind his back, drops it on the counter and says, "But you gave me this." The bartender looks down at the rose, then back at the man and says, "I'm sorry, but I didn't give you that rose." "I have no idea what you're talking about." Shaking his head in disbelief, the man says, "This can't be possible. I remember you giving me this rose and telling me to bring you the heart of the woman I was with. And in exchange, you were going to give me $1 million. The bartender says, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Leave now, before I call the cops." The man stands up and slowly backs away from the counter. As he reaches for the door, the bartender shouts, "Get away from me, you dirty animal. Don't ever come back here again." The man exits the bar. He walks down the street and disappears into the crowd. The bartender leans on the counter, trying to calm himself down. He takes a deep breath and closes his eyes, thinking about what just happened. He remembers everything. The man had walked into the bar and sat down without saying a word. The bartender had asked him what he wanted, but he just stared back blankly. The bartender had felt uneasy, so he had tried to engage him in conversation, but the man had remained silent. Finally, the bartender had asked him to leave, but instead of doing so, the man had pulled out a gun and shot the bartender's best friend in the back. The bartender had fought back, but the man had overpowered him and tied him up. He had then proceeded to take the bartender's wallet, phone, and car keys before leaving. Now, as the bartender thinks about what had happened, he realizes that he had been wrong to judge the man so quickly. He had seen the gun in his hand and had assumed that he was a criminal, but perhaps he was just a victim of circumstance. Maybe he hadn't had a choice in the matter. Maybe he was just trying to protect himself. The bartender shakes off these thoughts and tells himself that he should have called the cops right away. He should have known that something was wrong when the man had sat down without ordering anything. He should have seen the gun in his hand when he reached for his wallet. He should have known that he was in trouble when he had asked the man to leave. If he had only listened to his gut instinct, maybe his best friend would still be alive. The bartender takes another deep breath and tries to calm himself down. He knows that dwelling on the past won't change anything. He has to move forward and focus on the present. He has to make sure that his best friend gets justice. He has to make sure that the man is brought to justice. The man walks down the street. He is bleeding from a wound on his head. He is holding a rose in his hand. The man walks into an alley. He leans against the wall and closes his eyes. He is thinking about what just happened. He remembers walking into the bar and sitting down. He remembers pulling out the gun and shooting the bartender's best friend. He remembers tying up the bartender and taking his things. He remembers leaving the bar and walking down the street. He remembers reaching into his pocket to pull out the rose and then being attacked by the bartender. The man shakes off these thoughts and tells himself that he had no choice. He had to protect himself. He had to do what he did to survive. The man takes a deep breath and tries to calm himself down. He knows that dwelling on the past won't change anything. He has to move forward and focus on the present. He has to make sure that he gets away. He has to make sure that he survives. The man is taken to the hospital. He is lying in a bed. His bandages on his head. He is wearing a hospital gown. The man is conscious. He is talking to a doctor. The doctor is examining him. The man tells the doctor that he doesn't know how he got there. He doesn't remember anything. The doctor says that he must have hit his head pretty hard when he fell. The man asks the doctor if he's going to be okay. The doctor says that he'll be fine. He just needs to rest. The man closes his eyes and drifts off to sleep. The man wakes up. He's in a police interrogation room. He's sitting in a chair. Two detectives are sitting across from him. The man asks the detectives what happened. The detectives tell him that they need to ask him some questions about a crime that was committed in a bar. The man says that he doesn't know anything. The detectives don't believe him. They tell him that they know he was involved. The man insists that he doesn't know anything. The detectives become frustrated and start to yell at the man. They tell him that they know he was in the bar and they want answers. The man remains silent. The detectives walk out of the room. The man is left alone. He starts to cry. He is scared and confused. He doesn't know what to do. The man stands up and walks towards the door. He opens it and walks out of the room. He is free. The man walks down the street. He is walking away from the city. He is walking towards his car, gets into the car and drives away. The man is never caught. The murder goes unsolved. The bartender is never the same. He closes down his bar and moves away. The rose is found at the scene of the crime. It is placed in an evidence bag and taken away. The rose wilts and dies. The rose is a symbol of love and passion, but it also represents death and sacrifice. The rose is a reminder of the man who came into the bar and left with blood. The story is a mystery. It is a story of murder and deceit. It is a story of love and loss. It is a story of life and death. The story is told from the perspective of the bartender. He is the one who sees the man enter the bar. He is the one who witnesses the murder. He is the one who survives the attack. The story is told in real time. It is fast-paced and suspenseful. Readers kept guessing until the very end. The characters are complex and well-developed. The bartender is a likable protagonist. The man is a mysterious and dangerous antagonist. The supporting characters are also memorable. The story is full of twists and turns. There are several plot devices used to keep the reader engaged. The story is also full of symbolism. The rose is an important symbol in the story. It represents love and passion, but it also represents death and sacrifice. The story is also a commentary on society. It is a story about the dangers of judging others. It is also a story about the importance of listening to your gut instincts. Overall, the story is a page-turner. It is a story that will keep you guessing until the very end. It is a story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. If you liked this story, then check out the playlist where we publish similar stories. Thanks for watching. See you next time.